Ecuador, in Peru, I'm sorry, in Ecuador, for the second time in Ecuador. I'm a bit confused here. And I'm the coordinator of the chair of this session. My name is Christian Sequinel. The other chair is Audrey Romero, that is here with us. We will give you some private initial information about the session. This session is from Learning Analytics in Education. We have 4 presentations. 3 of them will be presented in English and 1 in Spanish. The first one is Synergic Case Study, Impact of Learning in Industry Training Center. The presenter is Chaya Lakshmi. And Chaya Lakshmi, you have about 8 minutes to present. I just ask for the other participants to keep your microphone on mute to avoid any noise. Please, Chaya Lakshmi, the time is with you right now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for providing an opportunity to share my view. Let me first share the screen and then I'll start. So, good afternoon, everyone. I welcome all the delegates and the session chair to the presentation. The title of my paper is Synergic Case Study, Impact of Learning in Industry Training Center. Me along with Dr. Suparna Kapoor, who is a senior faculty of Hindustan Aeronautical Limited Management Academy, has written this paper. And contents of this paper is I'll be covering introduction, literature survey, background, objective, data analysis and interpretation, and finally, so today now I'll be continuing with the introduction. As you know that education is one of the significant factors to the development of any country, and because of very high population in India, it is very difficult to reach literacy to among all the population. So education should also change with time and technological advancement so that we can come up with real life problems. We can cope up with real life problems or practical problems. Education should be aligned to the socio-cultural context and also business scenario, not only nationally, but also globally. There's a requirement of aligning our education with socio-economic cultural context and also business scenario. In order to happen this, there is a requirement of setting the mindsets of students and ability to cope up with these challenges, especially in the higher education. So in order to, just a minute. Students step into the higher education, as we are seeing nowadays that they are having a very casual attitude, because of which that is global enrollment ratio is around 25%, even though there are millions of youth present in our country. So in order to do that, employability, even though again millions of students are entering higher education, employability is only around 25%. Soon after the completion of degree. There are many reasons for this. I have listed only 4 major reasons. And first one is a lack of ability to apply the concepts which they are going to learn in the higher education to solve the real life problems. And it is very difficult for the companies nowadays to invest on the students soon after the graduation on their training. They don't want to invest much on training directly. They want industry ready students or industry ready graduates. And the third point is location also plays an important role, because tier 1 students or the students who are in tier 1 cities or metropolitan cities are exposed to infrastructure and also other facilities, whereas the other students who study in very small village like city, it is very difficult for them to expose themselves to such environment. And also naturally language, English language is also a barrier, even though they are technically strong, but they are very weak in communication. So Mr. Jayant has said once that, who is the CEO of a national corporation, said that this is the time to develop the skills in students so that they are employable. So drastically, there is a requirement of bridging the gap between industry and academia. Now, if I consider the literature survey, I have listed 1 or 2 here because of time shortage. There is a need for establishing this paper, that is 4 and 5, reference 4 and 5 says that there's a need for establishing a strong relationship between academia and industries for mutual benefit. And the case studies of two centers established by Dr. Mahalingam College of Engineering and Technology has discussed in this paper in depth. Profile of partnering industry, objectives of the partnership, inputs provided by the college and also industry are listed. And finally, the challenges faced by them and also lessons which are learned from this particular establishment of centers are also listed, and that is required for other educational institutions and also industries. Now, the other paper says that there is an implication of industry-academia interaction used for effective learning process and skill development in students. It means that there is a requirement, high requirement of establishing such interaction between industry and academia. And experience of handling an event on analog circuit maker context designed and developed by Texas Instruments Industry, Bangalore, is listed in this particular paper. And the benefits gained by students and also faculty by undergoing the activity is also listed. The statistics regarding the level of performance and involvement of students and staff are also discussed at length in this paper. So conclusion is employability of engineering student can be enhanced if the institutions understand the needs of industries. There are very few needs, like the students or the graduates should be technically competent. They should know interpersonal skills. They should be able to anticipate the future trends, and also they should have some leadership qualities so that they can work in any group. So students need to, in order to have all these things, students need to be exposed to industrial environment during their studies, and so that they can prepare themselves for their future roles. So establishment of, in order to do such activity, our college, Basaveshwara Engineering College, Bagalkot, has initiated many events, such as I have listed very few here. Establishment of Center of Excellence in association with industries like Bosch, Rexroth, or Intel, or Nokia. Involvement of industry experts in framing syllabus, not only in, as ours is autonomous college, we can include board of studies members from industries, not only in department level, but also in institution level. There is a continuous seminars or workshops which are conducted by various departments by personal industry personnel. Industry related projects for PG and PhD students and also faculty is going on. Guest lecture by industry experts is also a regular practice. Competitions to test the professional skills of students is a part of placement and also a curriculum. So having this, even though we have such a initiative, there is a lack of exposure for UG students to industrial environment. So in order to bridge this gap, Basaveshwara Engineering College, in association with HAL, that is Hindustan Aeronautical Limited Management Academy, offered an elective subject for 7-semester UG students of our college. 41 students from various departments like electrical, mechanical, electronics, instrumentation, computer science have opted this, and they have undergone a training program in HAL. There were two streams, basically two streams. One is mechanical, the other one is electrical. The subject which is offered for mechanical stream was aircraft design and manufacturing, but the electrical stream was aircraft design, electrical systems, avionics systems, and instrumentation. Out of this is just to show how many were from mechanical, how many percentage were from electrical and all. It was from 10th June to 26th June of 2019, and the training was in HMA campus, Bengaluru. Domain experts from various divisions of HAL and also internal faculty of Hindustan Aeronautical Limited Management Academy have handled the sessions. Field visits were also organized to helicopter division, aircraft control division, repair and overhaul division, composite division, wind tunnel testing division, like this. These are just some of the photographs which I have collected by students. At the end of the course, we have collected a feedback by collecting the individual opinion of a student by getting the questionnaire. It consists of some of the ordinal scale questions and interval scale, and few questions were open-ended also. Now, the objective was of collecting this is to enhance the knowledge, domain knowledge through practical exposure, and also to bridge the gap between industry and institute, to enable the students to understand the needs of industry, to expose the students to the real life environment whenever they are in student life, so that they can prepare themselves for their future role, to experience the safety concepts. Even though we teach these things in theory classes, unless and until they experience, it is very difficult for them to realize or understand the severity or the importance of that, to identify the area of their interest so that they can pursue their higher studies, or even they can build their career in that particular field, to provide the platform to enhance their interpersonal skills, and also to bring the critical thinking so that they can interact, they got the chance to interact with domain experts. So these were some of the objectives, and survey was carried out to study the impact of learning in industry institute, institute, that is HMA. 4 hypotheses were formed, and based on these 4 hypotheses, many questions, like around 20 questions were formed, which are filled by the students at the end of before the starting of the course, and also at the end of the course. We have collected the feedback of 41 students. And weightages are given based on the experience, and just to check whether the response is random or it is because of actual thought, we have calculated the p value, and all the values of this p is less than 0.05, which says that the hypothesis which we have considered as null hypothesis is rejected, and also alternate hypothesis is selected, because which shows that the responses were actual thoughts and not the random values. And these shows, for example, H1 is to enhance the knowledge of in subject domain, and these 4 curves represents the response curve for the answers of the questions in questionnaire, like 3, 6, 8, and 10. Like that, I have just mentioned the responses of different hypotheses. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 is for to prepare the students for industry readiness, to enhance the self-confidence, and to provide exposure to the industry training center. Based on this survey, we have a few recommendations to individual institutes and industries. At least one such center of excellence should be there in each department, in collaboration with industries such as HAL. This is just one example to understand the needs of industries. There should be many MOUs, mutual memorandum of understanding with industries for mutual benefits, so that the industries are also going to get the benefit out of it, and not only academia. Establishment of laboratories in the subject domain, like aircraft design and development, to provide exposure to the industrial environment, such as HAL at engineering college. Establishment of personality development cell in the college for developing the interpersonal skills required for the students on regular basis. This work was actually done by the placement office of our college, but also this year, considering the severity of the students who fail miserably in communication skills, we have established personality development cell in one of the departments, so that they are going to concentrate more on the overall development of the students. So these were some of the recommendations, and these slides show some of the references which I have referred. Thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. I thank the session chairs, and also all the delegates who are present for this second session of Laclo. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaya Lakshmi, for the presentation. We have time for one question. Okay. Anyone from the audience have any questions? Well, okay. If I have one, most of the content is from this new discipline that you implemented. If I understand, is more behavioral than about a subject per se. Is that correct? This feeling?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you designed a discipline where you try to give some behavioral perspective for the students on how they can
improve their interpersonal skills, and also subject knowledge, because they had so many field visits. Practically, okay. They have seen all the things which they have learned in the theory classes.
Perfect.
So okay, that helped them to remember the things more whenever they want to write the exam.
and then you are recommending to implement this strategy in all the programs that you have there, like
Yes, sir.
in the near the end of the course, like in the 70 semester, to implement
Yes,
such
sir.
a discipline so that all the students have this opportunity to this interface with the
Interact with
industry.
the industrial personals.
Yeah, this is a very nice idea. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chaya. Last. I don't have more questions. Yo pienso que podríamos hacer las preguntas al final. ¿Te parece, Cristian?
Dale, sí se puede.
Sí.
También. Dale.
Ya, en honor al tiempo. Gracias. Entonces.
¿Quieres presentar? Bueno, llamas el segundo.
No. Está bien. Adelante, Cristian.
Sí.
Bueno, la siguiente presentación es de el título Design and Evaluation of a Dashboard for Analysis of Learner Behavior and Prediction of Dropout in Moodle. Los autores de este trabajo son Brian Aguilar, Edison Chihuahua, Paola Pesantes y Jorge Maldonado, de Ecuador. Damos paso a la presentación de este trabajo. Adelante.
Buenas tardes con todos, mi nombre es Edison Sigua, el de mi compañero Brian Aguilar, y el día de hoy estamos aquí para presentar el tema que lleva por título Diseño y evaluación de un dashboard para el análisis del comportamiento y predicción de abandono en Moodle. En la agenda del día de hoy vamos a empezar con una breve presentación, luego daremos las motivaciones de nuestro estudio, expondremos la propuesta de solución a la problemática que nosotros hemos identificado, junto con la metodología a seguir, y por último unas breves conclusiones de nuestro trabajo. Una breve presentación, como ya mencioné, mi nombre es Edison Sigua, el de mi compañero Brian Aguilar, somos estudiantes de pregrado de la Facultad de Ingeniería en la Universidad de Cuenca. Actualmente estamos en nuestro último año y esta presentación de aquí forma parte del trabajo previo a la obtención de nuestro título de ingenieros de sistemas.
El siguiente tema a tratar en nuestra agenda es la motivación de nuestro estudio. Bueno, para empezar vamos a decir que el desarrollo tecnológico ha sido uno de los pilares fundamentales en lo que es la evolución humana. Muchas de las áreas humanas se han venido beneficiando de lo que es el desarrollo tecnológico, tales como la robótica, la medicina, la electricidad, las telecomunicaciones. En el caso específico de la educación, los avances tecnológicos han tratado de contribuir a lo que es la mejora del enfoque tradicional del aprendizaje. En este caso, aportando con áreas nuevas de interés investigativo como son las analíticas del aprendizaje. El uso de las tecnologías ha dado lugar al nacimiento también de lo que son nuevos modelos de aprendizaje, como es el caso del B-Learning o el aprendizaje híbrido, también que, bueno, en inglés es el Blended Learning. Este Blended Learning es un enfoque que combina lo que son los beneficios ofrecidos por lo que es el aprendizaje tradicional y también el aprendizaje en línea. Se está convirtiendo, de hecho, este tipo de aprendizaje híbrido ha sido una de las perspectivas que está convirtiéndose y llamando mucho la atención, ya que es una de las perspectivas más optadas por lo que es la educación superior hoy en día, al menos en nuestro país. En el caso de B-Learning, ha contribuido también a lo que es la formación de sistemas de gestión de aprendizaje. Estos sistemas de gestión lo que permiten es que la información se produzca de las interacciones de los estudiantes con lo que es la plataforma. Estas interacciones se almacenan en registros que se generan automáticamente y se guardan en sus bases de datos. A pesar de las capacidades que estos sistemas nos proponen y nos ayudan, estos se encuentran infravalorados en la educación, ya que muchos de estos sistemas solo se han limitado a lo que es el uso de lo que es la lectura de anuncios, lo que es descargar material complementario al educativo y también lo que es la entrega de tareas. Entonces, dado esto, es importante tener lo que es prioritario también lo que sería el desarrollo de una herramienta que nos permita visualizar a los docentes, visualizar el comportamiento de los estudiantes y su aprendizaje con el objetivo de poder evidenciar cómo es su proceso de aprendizaje a lo largo del curso en línea, en diferentes momentos de la clase. Esto puede ser antes, durante y después de la clase.
Relacionado al estado del arte de esta área de investigación, en la última década se han realizado diferentes estudios en el área del análisis del comportamiento de los estudiantes sobre plataformas online. Algunos de los destacados han buscado cómo integrar técnicas de minería de datos para mejorar el curso online y a la vez el aprendizaje de los estudiantes. Otras investigaciones han optado por un enfoque de minería de procesos para explorar el comportamiento de los estudiantes y extraer diferentes patrones de interacciones al rendir pruebas o exámenes. En este tipo de estudios, los resultados han sido la identificación de diferentes comportamientos que toman los estudiantes al momento de rendir una prueba o un examen. En algunos estudios también se ha analizado cómo predecir las calificaciones o qué elementos o variables afectan estas calificaciones y cuánto y de qué manera es posible predecir estas calificaciones. En estos estudios los resultados han sido modelos de predicción con diferentes configuraciones a los cuales se les ha hecho una evaluación con diferentes métricas probabilísticas. Otros estudios han analizado cómo los estudiantes aprobados o reprobados distribuyeron sus actividades a lo largo de las semanas de un curso. En este tipo de estudios los resultados han sido que han buscado cómo una relación de cómo esta distribución de actividades afecta a que estos estudiantes concluyan o abandonen el curso como tal. En las investigaciones más actuales se proponen herramientas de análisis de datos en busca de información útil, como puede ser rutas de aprendizaje, tendencias en comportamiento, secuencias de observación de video. El objetivo de este tipo de estudios ha sido proporcionar a los docentes herramientas de análisis de datos que permitan encontrar información oculta en los datos que almacenan las plataformas de aprendizaje online.
La plataforma sobre la que se basa nuestro estudio es Moodle. Es una de las plataformas de sistemas de gestión de aprendizaje más populares hoy en día debido a su licencia de software libre, su facilidad de personalización y también su arquitectura modular. De hecho, la principal ventaja de Moodle es que su código es abierto y por lo tanto es editable. Dado esto, existe una enorme comunidad que lo ayuda a su crecimiento y desarrollo a lo largo del tiempo. Debido a esto, existe una gran cantidad de plugins de terceros que pueden ser instalados en Moodle para extender sus funcionalidades nativas.
Si bien se ha empezado a ver que en los últimos años se han venido realizando progresivamente cada vez más estudios relacionados a aprovechar la información útil que está almacenada en los sistemas de gestión de aprendizaje en estas plataformas online, aún se ve que este tipo de información está bastante infravalorada. Es evidente que aún es necesaria la implementación de una herramienta que permita visualizar analíticas de aprendizaje en diferentes niveles de granularidad y que involucren la mayor cantidad de interacciones posible de los estudiantes con los recursos del curso. Esto permitiría realizar una adecuada monitorización del proceso de aprendizaje, de manera que sea más sencillo analizar el comportamiento de los estudiantes y predecir su posible abandono.
El siguiente tema a tratar el día de hoy es la propuesta de nuestro estudio. Bueno, el contexto en el cual se desarrolla nuestro estudio involucra lo que son los cursos virtuales ofertados por la Universidad de Cuenca. También lo que son estos cursos ofertan lo que son sobre la plataforma Moodle, ofertan cursos que constituyen material complementario a lo que es la institución. También es necesario que los resultados de este estudio sean de una naturaleza genérica, de manera que la herramienta proveída se aplique a diferentes materias de diferente naturaleza para lo que sea necesario en el curso. De esta manera, el estudio involucrará lo que son los estudiantes de la Universidad de Cuenca, igual que los docentes, lo que es el dashboard de desarrollo y lo que es la plataforma Moodle. Esto constituye un ejemplo real de la necesidad de nuestra propuesta de trabajo, debido a que se plantea una nueva adopción de un flujo de interacción en lo que serían los actores antes mencionados en la Universidad de Cuenca.
La metodología utilizada para el desarrollo del dashboard que nosotros proponemos consta de 5 fases. La primera de ellas le hemos denominado recolección. En esta fase se realizará una comprensión del modelo de datos sobre el que trabaja Moodle para luego extraer los datos que almacena este LMS en sus tablas internas. Estos datos corresponden a las interacciones de los estudiantes con cada uno de los recursos del curso, actividades y todo lo que puede ser tener una interacción. La siguiente fase lleva por nombre procesamiento. En esta fase involucra en primer lugar realizar un análisis descriptivo sobre los logs extraídos en la fase anterior. En segundo lugar, se ejecutará un proceso de extracción, transformación y carga, lo que se conoce con el nombre de ETL, sobre los datos de los logs extraídos. Y por último, la generación de un nuevo modelo de datos que únicamente almacenará los datos que nosotros utilizaremos en nuestro estudio.
Para la etapa de análisis, seleccionaremos y aplicaremos algoritmos de minería de datos sobre los datos extraídos en la etapa anterior. Además, extraeremos y encontraremos, interpretaremos lo que son los patrones y las secuencias de aprendizaje y finalmente generaremos indicadores a partir de estos patrones y secuencias encontradas. En cuanto a la etapa de visualización, levantaremos lo que son requerimientos junto con los actores del dashboard, en este caso lo que son los estudiantes y los docentes, que van a ser los que van a utilizar el dashboard. Además, propondremos un diseño de dashboard, esto de acuerdo a los requerimientos que vamos a extraer. Para esto utilizaremos lo que es la metodología de la investigación basada en el diseño. Este tipo de la metodología lo que permite es integrar un diseño de procesos de aprendizaje y permite también identificar los requisitos necesarios antes de la etapa de la construcción. Una vez concebido el diseño, es posible empezar a construir el dashboard que permite visualizar los patrones y las secuencias de aprendizaje antes encontradas.
La etapa final de la metodología es la evaluación, en la cual se desplegará el dashboard a un grupo de evaluadores que usará la herramienta durante un periodo de tiempo. Luego de este tiempo se realizará entrevistas cortas a los evaluadores sobre criterios de usabilidad y calidad de la herramienta para recibir retroalimentación y mejorar el dashboard.
En cuanto al resultado que estamos esperando con este trabajo, será el desarrollo de un dashboard, como ya menciona nuestro título, que de análisis de comportamiento y predicción de abandono de los estudiantes en la plataforma Moodle. Este dashboard, la utilidad de este dashboard no solo está centrada en el docente, ya que permitirá y proveerá al estudiante también tener una visión de cómo ha sido su progreso durante lo que es la duración del curso. Además, el proceso de evaluación que planteamos en la última fase de nuestra metodología nos ayudará a verificar el funcionamiento correcto de nuestro dashboard, de igual manera en un contexto real, con el objetivo de generar retroalimentación que nos permita identificar lo que son las debilidades de nuestra herramienta y de igual manera plantear trabajos futuros.
Listo, muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias por la atención. ¿Tienen alguna pregunta?
Gracias, Brian and Edson. Thank you, Brian and Edson. We are going to the next presentation and let the questions to the end of the session if we have time.
Okay.
The next presentation is a large-scale analysis of App Inventor projects, and it will be presented by Natalia da Cruz Alves. The other authors of the work are Cristiana Gressi von Frankenheim and Giancarlo Hauck from Brazil. Natalia, can you share your screen? Okay, you can start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Natalia, and I'm going to present our paper. We are from the Federal University of Santa Catarina in Brazil. Well, today we live in a technological world in which computing has an increasing influence in our daily lives. Therefore, teaching computing K-12 has emerged as an important matter, especially coding and programming. So when we talk about teaching algorithms and programming K-12, one of the possibilities is to use App Inventor. App Inventor is a visual programming language that allows you to create applications for Android. App Inventor has two main parts. It has a design editor where you can define the visual aspects of an app and its components, and the blocks editor where you can define the behavior of the app by programming. So the programming blocks are divided into built-in blocks and component blocks. Built-in blocks are those generic that every programming language has, and the component blocks are those specifically to program components of App Inventor. So here's an overview of App Inventor components. We have user interface components such as buttons, checkboxes, etc. We have layout, media, storage, sensors, etc. There are many studies on the effectiveness, progression, and evaluation of App Inventor for teaching algorithms and programming. Yet little is known about the programming practice of programming projects in large galleries, especially there are many studies on the effectiveness, progression, and evaluation of App Inventor for teaching algorithms and programming. Yet little is known about the programming practice of programming projects in large galleries, especially in App Inventor gallery that includes projects of all types. Therefore, we defined our research method with 3 steps, including definition, execution, analysis, and interpretation. We downloaded 80,000 projects from the App Inventor gallery and analyzed them. So on the results, regarding the size of App Inventor projects, we noticed that it varies from projects with very few blocks to some surprisingly large projects. In general, much fewer design components are used than programming blocks, as typically to work properly, several programming blocks are needed for each design component. Among programming blocks, event blocks are by far the most used ones, being present in more than 91% of the projects. The other component blocks, such as set and get, call methods, are also widely used to customize App Inventor components and perform complex functions. Most built-in blocks, such as text, control, variables, math, are also widely used. And the least used block is the component object. We also analyze control blocks separately. In general, conditional blocks are much more used than loop blocks. This can be explained by the event-based model of App Inventor, in which many iterative processes that would be expressed through loops in other language are actually expressed by an event that performs a single step of the iteration each time is triggered. The frequent use of set and get blocks can be explained by the need for using a lot of these blocks to change or know the values of many component properties. Math blocks are also used widely, summing up 1.88 million math blocks in the analyzed projects. We also analyze the percentage of design components, as apps may contain a component but do not necessarily have blocks related to that component for modifying its behavior. So the most commonly used component blocks are related to their user interface, as they are essential for creating the visual part of the app. Layout components are also widely used, but layout blocks not so much. Among those on the user interface, of course, buttons are by far the most used one, and also labels. On the other hand, specific components such as time pickers, date pickers are hardly used. We also did an analysis of how do App Inventor projects differ from projects in Scratch, which is another prominent visual programming environment widely used in K-12. Here's a summary. Follow me on which of the differences. So in general, App Inventor projects seem to be larger in terms of the number of blocks per project. Although the mean number of blocks per project do not differ much, the median of blocks per project in App Inventor is almost twice the median of blocks per Scratch project. So it seems that App Inventor projects in general seem to be more complex than programs created with Scratch. However, the use of variables per project seems to be similar in both languages. The use of lists per project and the call of the defined procedures are higher in App Inventor than Scratch. On the other hand, the use of conditional loops and procedure definitions are higher in Scratch than App Inventor. A possible explanation could be the fact that App Inventor projects use some conditional behaviors by expressing it by using event blocks, and the event-based model of App Inventor allows the many iterative process expressed through loops in Scratch are actually represented using event blocks in App Inventor. And regarding procedure definitions, this seems to indicate that in Scratch procedures are more used for organization, whereas procedures in App Inventor are used for organization as well as abstraction. So we presented the results of a large-scale study on 80,000 projects we scrapped from the App Inventor gallery. As implications, our results indicate that it could be better to choose App Inventor for teaching programming when aiming at teaching lists, conditionals, and event-based programming. Also, teaching user interface design is important as part of computing education. Of course, if you're interested in more detailed analysis that were not possible to present due to time limit, please see your paper. And thank you very much for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, Natalia. We ask for the participants to hold their questions to the end of the session. And we are going to the next session, the next paper that's going to be presented by Lucas. And how does the attitude to new media influence the evaluation of a new e-learning platform among current and future teachers? The other authors are Maria Amélia Eliseu, Valéria Martins, Ismar Frango, Lazar Stotzik, Solomon Sunday, and Sibeli Amato. Lucas, you can start your presentation when you are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Good evening. And due to the fact that winter is coming to Poland, we don't have any good news from Central Eastern Europe. But we have one positive message about our project, about smart ecosystem for learning and inclusion. This is an international action, and I want to share some small piece of results from our project. I'm only presenter today, but behind me is a huge team from a few countries, including Ecuador, including Uruguay, great friends from Brazil, from Dominicana, from Cuba, and also from 3 countries in Europe, from my university, Pedagogical University of Krakow, also Hacettepe University from Turkey, and the leader of this action, Eastern Finland University. We want to create something extraordinary, something new. We build an e-learning environment, e-learning platform. We started working with platforms since 2 years ago, and nobody knows what happened under this time. But now, in the COVID time, we try to use and test new international Latin America and European e-learning platform, and we have some results about how to teachers, in-service teachers and pre-service teachers evaluate our e-learning environment. I want to present today only just this really short piece of our results. One basic aims is show how is the relation, how exists the relation between the attitude to new media and in the group of future and current teachers, and how they evaluate our new learning environment. And I want to show just a portion of the motivation factor and evaluation. What is the dependencies? What is the relation between these two factors? Our e-learning environment has been translated to all local language, including Spanish, including Portuñol, including Polish, Turkish, and since June, we try to test to implement this e-learning environment. On the left side, probably you see print screen from the main desktop of our e-learning platform. But you know, it's not good time for test. From the one hand, okay, from the one hand, is a good time to test new e-learning environment. But from the other hand, every Polish teachers is overloaded now.
Lucas, are you sharing your screen?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I try one more time to share my screen. Maybe now will be better. I don't know.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Now it's better.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's better. Okay. Sorry. Emotion, you know, international conference and friends from Latin America, and forgot to press the button. According to the teachers, they are really overloaded now, and they hate new technologies. They are techno-pessimists now. When we want to test something new, we feel a huge resistance. of course, I should add the basic information about the teachers in Central Eastern Europe, that they are over 40 years old. The average of Polish or Czech or Slovak teachers are over 40. But we try. We invite over 200 people, some students from my pedagogical university and also teachers. And we use battery of tests. We invite to test our e-learning platform, and they go into the two basic courses. One was about the prevention of cyberbullying. It's hot topic in Poland, not also in Poland. And second test, built from step by step, was about digital inclusion of elderly, of group of digital excluded. Our tools was quite nice. We have a quite nice internal coexistence, 1, 2, and second questionnaire. Our theoretical framework was TPAC. Everyone know what is the TPAC. We import field about the attitudes to new media. And in general, our teachers are techno-optimists. They strongly agree, majority agree or strongly agree that digital technologies change our life positively. They like use the new media. They know some web page that help to learn and teach. They are familiar with new technologies. They are techno natives, according to the typology of Mark Prensky. And we find some interesting relation. For example, when somebody use the new technologies, they are also declare that new technology changed their life positively, but it's not strong relation. The declarations about the answers about the attitudes of new media are not homogenic. They are more diverse that we feeling at the beginning. According to the evaluation of our e-learning platform, they declare that, okay, the evaluation is quite nice, it's well or very well, but for our teachers, in-service and pre-service teachers, more important is content that new e-learning tools. This is a really important results from our teachers. New tools are nice. Majority of them have an experience with Coursera, with obviously with Moodle. It's popular too everywhere, but they prefer have a good content that bad content implemented in excellent e-learning platform. And of course, in-service teachers were more positive about the modernity of our e-learning platform, about the usefulness of the content, and also about the overall course quality. Our pre-service teachers, I think, was more techno-pessimist, and they still online, and they not also they don't know how to transfer our content from e-learning to schools when we compare with in-service teachers. Okay, and what we find, we of course create some prediction model, and we try to find if something change when we compare how they quickly learn, they use the new e-learning platform with attitudes. And we didn't find any relation. It means that attitude are more constant. It's not really change attitude of in-service or pre-service teachers. Yeah, but I want to show you also a short piece from another research. It will be published in the next few weeks, I hope, that we compare also this data using this same tool from another countries, and what we get. teachers in Finland and also in Uruguay are more liberal according to new technologies than teachers from, for example, from Ecuador or from Bolivia or from Brazil. Exist some dependencies between country and how they, this is only one example that we ask the teachers about if students should be prohibited using cell phones at the school. It's from the before COVID time, the question, probably now something changed. It's from another research, but this research will be also published in, not in the Laclo, but in another paper. It's interesting relation when we compare Europe and Latin American countries, because this result is about the Poland, and we also get the data from another countries. You are, everyone is welcome to use our e-learning environment. It's for free, it's for everyone. If you need something brand, something, I don't know, smart, easy tool to conduct your lecture or test new e-learning platform, this e-learning platform is open for everyone, and you are really welcome. If you need some detailed information in your local language, Professor Ismael Frango or Professor Gabriel Barros from Ecuador, they will help you probably. And if you are interested more about the attitudes and relation with e-learning experience, with the how students and teachers using new media, how this relation looks like, I invite you to read these two also short articles. Thank you for the attention, and I'm really excited to be here with you and to be a part of this great Laclo event. Thank you for attention.
Thank you, Lucas. I believe we have time for one question. Is that correct, Audrey?
Yes. Hola.
Bueno, ¿qué te parece? ¿Una pregunta quizás?
Yo creo que una pregunta, sí,
una
porque
pregunta.
nos están esperando los siguientes panelistas.
Does anyone have any question for any of our presenters? ¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta para alguno de los presentadores? Es que tenemos como que 5 minutos solamente porque necesitamos irnos a otra sala. Pues yo tengo, pero voy a preguntar directamente después a los presentadores. Well, if nobody has any questions, as we are reaching the end of the time here, we will end the session right now. I would like very much to thank you all the presenters, and we had here people from India, from Poland, from Brazil, Ecuador. It was really nice to have you all here, and we invite you to stay at the conference and follow the next sections and the keynote speakers. Thank you, everybody. That's it. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Gracias a todos. Ha sido una buena mesa de trabajo, muy variada, como dijo Cristian. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you.